Before we begin, take a moment. If you can, gently close your eyes. Let the screen disappear and simply listen. Let the words come to you. Now picture your morning, the stillness in the air, the first quiet breath you take before the world asks anything of you. What is the very first thing you do when you wake up? Do you reach for your phone without thinking? Do you stretch slowly, trying to shake off sleep? Or maybe, almost instinctively, you make a cup of coffee. That simple act feels ordinary, yet it is older than empires. For millions of people around the world, coffee is not just a drink. It is familiarity. It is comfort. It is a small moment of calm before the rush begins. Every single day, more than 2 billion cups of coffee are poured, lifted, and held. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is wrapping their hands around a warm cup and feeling that quiet pause. Coffee gives us energy, but it also gives us focus. It gives us space, a brief moment to gather our thoughts. What most people never realize is that coffee was never planned. It was not designed by a ruler or discovered by a scientist in a lab. It began quietly and accidentally, guided by curiosity. Long before coffee existed, life moved with the sun. People worked while there was light and rested when darkness arrived. Staying awake was difficult. Water was often unsafe. Milk spoiled quickly. Wine and beer were common, even in the morning. They comforted the body, but they slowed the mind. Imagine beginning your day that way, day after day. Merchants pushed through exhausting journeys. Students studied by fading light. Sufi monks stayed awake through long nights of prayer, searching for something that could keep them alert without breaking their inner calm. More than 1,000 years ago, in the green highlands of Ethiopia, a young goat herd named Kaldi noticed something he could not ignore. His goats were different, restless and energetic, dancing and leaping instead of settling down to sleep, all after eating small red berries from a wild bush. Curious, Kaldi tasted the berries himself. Almost immediately, his senses sharpened. His tiredness lifted. He felt awake in a way he never had before. Knowing this mattered, he carried the berries to a nearby monastery. A cautious monk, unsure and suspicious, tossed them into the fire. As the berries burned, the air changed. A deep, rich aroma filled the room. The monk stopped and leaned in. They rescued the roasted seeds, crushed them, mixed them with hot water, and drank. That night, they stayed awake through their prayers, unaware they had just created the first cup of coffee. Over time, coffee crossed the Red Sea into Yemen, where it finally found purpose. Sufi monks used it during long nights of prayer and meditation. They roasted beans slowly over open flames, watching carefully and learning through patience and repetition. They called the drink kawa, meaning that which removes sleep. They discovered something extraordinary. Coffee awakened the mind without disturbing the soul. Gradually and quietly, coffee moved beyond monasteries and into daily life. Nothing about it was rushed. Nothing was forced. It was learned one cup at a time. By the 1500s, coffee reached cities like Mecca, Cairo, and Istanbul. Coffee houses appeared, simple spaces filled with voices and warmth. People gathered to talk about business, poetry, politics, and ideas. For the first time, people came together not to drink alcohol, but to think clearly. Coffee was no longer just a drink. It became a meeting place for ideas. That made some leaders uneasy. Places where people talked freely felt dangerous. Coffee was banned in certain regions, whispered about, and punished. Still, people kept drinking it. When coffee reached Europe, the debate grew louder. Some called it evil. Others were curious. When Pope Clement VIII tasted it himself, the argument ended quietly. In England, attempts to close coffee houses failed as people pushed back. Across Europe, coffee houses became centers of learning. Newspapers were born there. Businesses were formed there. Conversations shaped the future there. As demand grew, coffee traveled across oceans, carried by ambition and risk. One small plant, protected across a dangerous journey, would later become millions of trees. Yet this growth came with suffering. Plantations relied on enslaved and exploited labor, leaving a painful mark on coffee's history that cannot be ignored. By the 1800s, coffee became a global trade. By the 1900s, it became part of everyday life. Espresso machines, instant coffee, and mass production made coffee accessible to everyone. No longer a luxury, it became a habit woven into daily routines. Today, coffee is grown in more than 70 countries. It connects farmers and workers, students and creators, people who may never meet yet share the same ritual. From a wild berry in Ethiopia to the cup in your hands, coffee's journey mirrors our own, driven by curiosity, shaped by patience, marked by mistakes, and held together by connection. So the next time you take a sip, slow down for just a moment. You are not simply drinking a beverage, you are holding centuries of human history. And in a quiet, ordinary way, you are part of it.